What they did is they included so-called gender-inclusive language. It goes on to strike father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, uncle, aunt. Well, this language goes further, and it's even more offensive. Clause 1C9 strikes semen.
You're tuned in to CAS TV.
So earlier this week, Congresswoman Marjorie Greene made headlines after successfully restoring gendered language back in Congress. This change reverses a controversial topic that was introduced by Nancy Pelosi when she was Speaker. It replaced terms like father, husband with gender-neutral words so that no one would feel offended if they didn't feel like they were part of that binary gender spectrum. And right here, Greene shares her thoughts on the whole situation. Let's check it out.
Hey everybody, we just finished voting for Mike Johnson for Speaker of the House, but I want to tell you a quick story of what happened before the Speaker vote. So I found out about our rules package, our rules that we're going to be voting on, and I found out that there was language in the rules that was upsetting to me, and I think upsetting to most of you. So I went to Speaker Johnson and the rest of the leadership, and I said, I will not vote for the House rules unless this language is changed. So I'm going to walk through what it is that had me upset. I said, I will not vote for the rules package. I will withhold my vote. I'll vote no. And here's what it was. So from Nancy Pelosi's 117th Congress, when she was Speaker of the House, it was my freshman year, and I was shocked and mortified that this is what the Democrats did. They established, and here it is in the rules, they established an Office of Diversity and Inclusion. This is what the Democrats do. And so here's all the language in there, establishing an Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and it talks about all the rules and how the whole thing will be carried out. And then going further, they did something that I think it's absolutely against who we are as human beings and absolutely 100% against gender. What they did is they included so-called gender-inclusive language. And this is where Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats put it in. Starts with Clause 1C9 in Rule 10, strikes seamen and insert seafarers. But that's only the beginning, so it keeps going. It carries on and it strikes chairman to insert chair. See, they're so offended by male and female. The Democrats have spent years now trying to destroy the fact there's only two genders, male and female. Well, this language goes further and it's even more offensive. It goes on to strike father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, first cousin, nephew, niece, husband, wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, stepfather, stepmother, stepson, stepdaughter, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, grandson, or granddaughter, and inserts parent, child, sibling, parent, sibling, first cousin, sibling's child, spouse, parent-in-law, child-in-law, sibling-in-law, step-parent, stepchild, step-sibling, half-sibling, or grandchild.
Okay, so some people may look at that oppose her and say, why is she making a big deal about that? It's not that big of a deal. Well, that's what I've seen a lot of people on the left do the past 10 years to try to push their agenda a little further. They say, well, you shouldn't really care about this. It's not that big of a deal. And then they step forward. And then now it becomes the norm. You cannot dead name somebody, which is you call someone by their real name, or you accidentally call someone a she, or when they claim they're a he, and vice versa. So it's interesting when people say and make the argument, well, why does she care so much? Just do it. You could also make the same argument, well, why do you care so much? Let's not do it. If it's not that big of a deal, why put all this effort in to make a new rule about it? But let's continue.
And now that we are in control of the House, we are voting on new rules. And so my demand to Speaker Johnson and to the rest of the leadership is I said, I'm not voting for your rules, and I'll be very public about it. I will tell the entire country that we have to fix this until it's changed. Very excited to let you know. The language has been changed, and I had some other members help. Diana Harshberger helped me. Dusty Johnson helped me. Brian Stiles helped me. and the speaker's office and staff helped me. So here's the new language in the rules. Striking the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Strike in Rule 2, strike Clause 9, and redesignate the succeeding clause accordingly. So that means we are completely wiping out Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats' Diversity and Inclusion Office. Then it goes further. Here's some more of it. Conforming amendments. Strike the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Strike Inspector General, Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and insert Inspector General. Now, here's what else is extremely important.
So for anybody that has heard of the DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff that's been going on a lot lately, some people may say, I don't know what it is, but if this side likes it, I don't like it. And if this side's against it, I'll be against it too, or vice versa. When it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, it's basically trying to say, and I'm going to try to give a very optimistic perspective of the people that came up with this, we just want everyone to have a chance and get to the same places everyone else can get to. The only problem with that is the way that it's acted out today is diversity, equity, and inclusion isn't giving everybody the same options, but making sure the same outcomes happen. So what that means is this. Instead of saying the 100 best basketball players on this team are going to play for, the championship or whatever. Instead, it's, well, let's make sure that some of the really short basketball players get put into this mix. Let's make sure some of these people get put in. And when it comes to certain professions where other people are reliant on you doing a good job, especially when their life is on the line, like pilots, like doctors and surgeons and things like that, there can be issues when you say, you know what, this person wouldn't have met the top 100, but they meet the top 100 now when we say, let's remove some of these other people and we've got to include a short person or a skinny person or whatever demographic or feature you want to add. And now you're not necessarily getting the top 100 doctors or pilots and things like that. And that's why people have a problem with the DEI in the way that it's practiced out today. Let's continue.
You see, we're the family. We're the party of family. We believe in family. We believe in mother, father, sister, brother, all these family names. And shame on Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats for ever taking that out. Think about it. Nancy Pelosi herself is a woman. She is a wife. She is a mother. She is a grandmother, and so on. So we're putting these words back in. Right here, restoring family-centric language. So here it is, 1 in Clause 8C3. That we are striking the Democrats' language. We're striking their gender-inclusive language. We're striking parent, child, sibling, parent, sibling, first cousin, siblings, child, spouse, parent-in-law, child-in-law, sibling-in-law, step-parent, stepchild, step-sibling, half-sibling, or grandchild, and we're inserting back in the rules of our house. We're putting the proper names back in. Father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, first cousin, nephew, niece, husband, wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, stepfather, stepmother, stepson, stepdaughter, stepbrother, stepsister, half-brother, half-sister, grandson, or granddaughter. And in Clause 15D2, strike parent, child, sibling, spouse, or parent-in-law, and insert father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, husband, wife, father-in-law, or mother-in-law. Look, Republicans are back in charge, and we are going to do this right, and we're going to restore this country to traditional family values, and this is how we do it, in the absolute language that we vote on the House floor. So I didn't withhold my vote from Mike Johnson today for Speaker, but I did threaten to withhold my vote for the rules until this was changed, and I'm very happy to say it got changed. I'll add on one more piece of information. We are going to have very specific rules in the House of Representatives in the Capitol. There will be no biological men in our bathrooms, in our locker rooms, in any of women's places of privacy, and that is a fact. So just wanted to let you guys know. We'll post below pictures of the language so you can check it out.
Now, a lot of people on the left are criticizing her by saying, why are you making such a big deal about this? You need to be making a bigger deal about the economy, the border, all these other issues that are really important. This isn't a big deal. Well, again, to go back to my original argument, if it's not a big deal, why did you put so much effort in to put it in the rules in the first place? And the argument was because we need to be inclusive. We need to make sure everybody's not offended. We need to make sure everybody's happy. But let's be real, how many people were really offended by the language that was used? It's language that everybody, for the most part, until the last 4 or 5 years, thought was normal. And in most areas of the world think are normal. So why so much effort to change those rules if it's not a big deal? And a lot of people on the left are saying, hey, you're taking a step back in progression. But let's think about this. Right now, if we're making a rule where everybody has to fall in line for 1 or 2 people, maybe being offended, and when you really take a look at those 1 and 2 people, they're confused about a lot of things in life, more than just this topic, then you're adjusting the reality of everybody in the world to fit this small, tiny percentage of people that already aren't thinking straight about reality. And now you've got essentially the tail wagging the dog instead of the dog wagging the tail. I'm not saying we shouldn't be kind to people. I'm not saying people's feelings don't matter. But when we get to a point where common sense, logic, and reason are thrown out the window just to make sure other people don't feel offended, especially when those people aren't looking at things logically, and especially when it's happening in the highest offices in the United States, we've got some issues there. And so I'm glad they're at least starting to say, maybe we should pull these things back a little bit. And people are starting to take a stand and not fall for the trick of, well, it's not really that big of a deal, so let us just do this. Now, what do you think? Do you think that they're out of line by fixing these and that she's out of line for celebrating the fact that they're back to common sense? Or do you think, no, this is what we need. We do need common sense back. And some of these quote unquote woke ideologies are going a little too far and we need to reel it back to common sense and reality. Share your thoughts in the comment below. Thanks for checking out this video. And as always, truth always cuts through the noise. So let's keep cutting together and I'll see you guys next time.